motive was he was upset about the boat crash and realized he didn't have money to pay for the defense. And the motive was that he was confronted by Jeannie Seckinger that very day at PMPD on June 7th about the fact that that Ferris fee, as they keep calling it, was missing. That was about $790,000, what they keep calling the Ferris fee. So today, very first, when he got on the stand, Creighton Waters started going through those things, asking Alec, were you upset about this? Were you upset about this? This was interesting to me. So he said on June 7th, when Jeannie Seckinger was asking you about that missing Ferris fee, were you not upset? And Alec said, no, I wasn't upset. I wouldn't even call that a confrontation. Jeannie may have called it a confrontation, but I did not call it a confrontation. Then he went on to ask about the boat crash and how Alec was feeling about that. And Creighton Waters says, so the boat crash, not worried, no big deal. And Alec said, well, no, but I was getting together my financial declaration for the boat crash. Also something very interesting, we heard Mark Tinsley, who is an attorney who was suing Alec in that boat crash. He was representing the victims. He has testified that at the conference, a lawyers conference that they were at, Alec went up to him and said, what's going on, Bo? Why are you suing me? Alec said today that never happened. So basically Creighton Waters trying to say what his motivation was, what Alec's motivation was, and what could have been motivation for the murders. All right, our reporter, News 19's Caitlin Hagwood has been in the courtroom today listening to all this information, joins us now with your takeaways. And Caitlin, would you agree that that's what Creighton Waters is trying to do, is basically say, you know, you were upset about the boat crash. You were upset that Jeannie Seckinger confronted you about the money, and you were upset at Maggie and Paul confronting you about the pills, and sort of starting to plant that idea for jurors about motive.
Absolutely, Andrea. And honestly, I feel like prosecutors have come back a little bit stronger today than they were yesterday. Murdaugh was very evasive in their questioning. I mean, some questions, easy, really simple questions, yes or no, they were drawn out so long that yesterday I feel like jurors may have even forgot what he was initially asking. But today, things seem to be going smoothly and really getting some answers out of Murdaugh that I think may stick with jurors. One of the things that he was trying to kind of walk back was yesterday, Murdaugh testifying about really being kind of a sympathetic person, a loving father, as he has said that he was, someone who is innocent in the killings of his wife and son, and that he lied to officers because of his drug use. Well, today he said that he was able to win cases and steal millions of dollars from clients while on drugs, something prosecutors worked to try to show was a very complicated process for someone who says that by the time of the actual killings was unable to even operate or function properly. He was paranoid because of his drug use, and that led him to lie. So again, trying to walk back that comment. Now, this pattern of theft and lies was something prosecutors pressed him on throughout. You mentioned it, going as far as to say that Murdaugh creates a new lie whenever he needs to. Now, they asked him about the night of the killings, going minute by minute through what he says happened. Murdaugh, of course, saying that he lied to officers and family about being at the scene multiple times because of that drug use and distrust for officers. And while he says he has lied to people who trusted him, he maintains he did not kill his wife and son. I think that Murdaugh, the defendant, is of course trying to show that if he's willing to be honest or forthcoming about certain details, saying that yes, I did steal, yes, I did lie, that will make make him seem more honest in the eyes of jurors. But you mentioned this yesterday, it still holds true today, and it was something that prosecutors pressed him on, trying to show jurors that if he's willing to lie to his clients, if he's willing to lie to his family, and he's willing to do these things over a course of years at times related to some of his different crimes that he's accused of, that he'd be willing to lie to jurors sitting right there on that stand. And as they continue to go minute by minute through that testimony, I think Creighton Waters, the chief prosecutor, is hoping to show those inconsistencies in his story. Andrea?
Yeah, Caitlin, really quickly before you go, I totally agree with the point that you're making, that Creighton Waters is basically trying to show the jurors and walk them through it, that every time Alec gets caught in a lie, he pauses and then comes up with a different story that goes along with what we know to be truth. Let me ask you this, as somebody who's been in the courtroom and watching it, how do you think the jurors are going to take now, knowing Alec was lying up until yesterday about something as big as being with the victims right before they were murdered, and say, okay, you lied about that, but now what you're telling us is the truth. Do you think Creighton's line of questioning has been successful at that today?
Well, Andrea, I'll say of the jurors, they've been very attentive. We've had some moments, particularly with that financial testimony, where it's been kind of dull, not so interesting or exciting, and some of them were even appearing to doze off. But they've been pretty attentive at times, mouth gaping open when he first took the stand, just kind of surprised by what they were seeing. And so as they're listening, I think that they're certainly, as he's telling his story, I think it comes off a little bit more direct than what we hear when we're hearing from investigators.